Hello, it's Jane from Storytelling, and my neighbors are mowing their lawn, so you'll hear that too. And this is The Farmer and the Badger. It wasn't too long ago when humans and animals existed in the world as equals. It's hard to believe, but animals lived just like how humans live today. They talked like humans, walked like them. They had human jobs, human hobbies, and human vices. And just like humans, there were a select few animals that liked to make trouble just for the fun of it. For example, there was this badger, this vicious little creature with sinister claws and a tiny upturned nose that pointed wherever it snuffed out trouble. And this badger took it upon himself to ruin the life's work of his poor farmer neighbor, ruining the carefully cultivated crops the farmer took care of every single night, sneaking over to the estate and wreaking havoc. Finally, the farmer had had enough. He set up a trap for the badger. It was a simple rigging of sticks and wires, whatever he could gather up. But his efforts paid off. One morning he found the badger ensnared in his trap, and he tied him up and slung him over his shoulder as he thrashed and howled, and he carried him all the way to his home, where he strung him up to the rafters of his ceiling. He turned to his wife and he said, "Looky here, I caught the little devil. Now don't you go letting him out with your soft-hearted self, because he is going to be soup tonight." And he set off, ready to take on the day. But hearing this put the badger in a bad mood. He did not much care for the idea of being made into soup. He thought maybe he could be a nice steak, a sandwich, but soup? A commoner's meal? He began to strike up a plan, and he looked down to the woman who was grinding barley below. Her face was seamed with wrinkles, and she was tan and withered like an old baseball mitt. And every once in a while she stopped her grinding to wipe sweat that dripped down her tired brow. He looked down and smiled, and he said, "Dear lady, you look mighty tired and weary, grinding up all that barley there. Surely you could use some help from a badger like myself. You see, I have very strong arms indeed, and I could relieve you of some of that work there." The lady looked at the badger and said, "Thank you, but no thank you. You see, if I let you down, then you might run away, and then I would be in big trouble with my husband. So you just stay right there, and I'll just stay right here grinding up my barley." You're very unkind. Very unkind indeed. I promise not to run away, and I would promise with my pinkies if I had such appendages on my paws. But if it helps you feel any better, you could even tie me up after I'm done grinding barley if you're afraid of angering your husband. So please, just take pity on a poor old badger such as myself. My bones are very much stiff, and I'm very much tired of being tied up like this. Just have mercy on me, please." Now, this woman had a kind and simple nature, very trusting of this random creature that hung from her ceiling, and she did feel very sorry for him. So she believed his promise, cut the ties that hung him up, and let him down. She gave him the wooden pestle, and as she began coaching him through the motions of grinding the barley, he took the apparatus and swung it over her head. Instantly she was knocked out cold and fell to the floor. The wicked badger looked at her and looked at the pot that sat on the stove. He had an idea, an awful idea. "How wonderful would it be if I made soup out of the old hag? That would teach a poor farmer a thing or two about us badgers." He set off to work immediately, fixing up the soup, and by the time the poor farmer made it home, it was ready. And waiting for him was the badger, dressed in the woman's clothes. He said to the farmer, "Aw, dear husband, you've been gone such a long time. You look so tired. Why don't you come sit down, rest your feet a little bit. I'll get you some of that soup that you asked for, sweetie." Before the farmer even had a chance to taste the soup, the badger was overcome with his victory. strangled by his own triumph, and he jumped out of the old woman's clothes and yelled, "Boogity-boo, you are a wife-beating old man. Watch out for the bones in the kitchen." And he scurried off, leaving the farmer alone to suffer. And suffer he did. Not only did the wretch get out again, his one partner, companion, his wife, was gone. Nothing but a bowl of warm soup as the lasting vestige of her truncated lifespan. He didn't know what to do. He just cried. He sobbed for hours on end, the tears squeezing out of his swollen eyes and the pain of heartbreak racking through his body. Now far away, farther than the badger could ever run, lived a lonely rabbit, and he heard these cries, and he began searching for the human more desolate than any creature on earth. And when he found the farmer and understood his predicament, he knew exactly how he could help. "You know what, old man? Let me take care of this for you. I'll talk to this badger, animal to animal. It'll be fine. And I'll do it free of cost to you. I'll give you the new family and friend discount." So the next day, when the sun was high in the sky, Rabbit went out looking for Badger. Badger wasn't out on the hillside, nor was he in the woods. Oh no, the coward was hiding in his den, afraid that the farmer would come out and avenge his wife. But Badger wasn't expecting the rabbit. Rabbit called out through the hole, "Hey Badger, what you doing hiding in your hole all day? Don't you want to come out and go wheat chomping with an old rabbit such as myself?" Badger stuck his head out the hole, looked from side to side, and nodded. The coast was clear. There was no vengeful farmer in sight. So Rabbit led Badger across miles and miles of landscape to a golden wheat field, where they started chomping, collecting wheat that would be the winter's harvest. And once they were done, once they were ready to go, gathering up the bundles on their backs, Rabbit said, "You know what, Badger, why don't you go ahead? This guy's got some old knees, I don't want to slow you down." After a little ways of walking, Rabbit took out his Zippo lighter, started flicking open the top. What's that noise? That flick noise? "Don't worry about it, it's nothing. I was just saying flick, because, well, we're on Flick Mountain. Yeah." And the blaze started spreading across Badger's fur, and as he started to panic, whimpering on the inside, it took everything in Rabbit not to scream out, "Well, now we're on Burning Mountain." And as the panic overtook Badger, the flames singeing his fur, seeping into his wounded flesh, Rabbit just said, "You know what, how did this happen? You know what, you wait right there, and wait right there for a hot second, and I'll just go get some help for you. How about that? You just wait right there." And he bounded over to a nearby hilltop where he watched his new foe writhe in pain, the flames spreading to nearby cypress trees, and soon the badger was trapped in an inescapable snare of fire. Just practice for what he was going to experience in the afterlife. The rabbit ran as fast as he could to the badger, relayed to the news of his vanquished foe and the farmer's avenged wife. And the farmer thanked him, tears in his eyes. Finally he could get some rest, knowing that his crops would go undisturbed and that his wife would be avenged. And from that day on, neither the rabbit nor the farmer felt the sting of loneliness, of isolation ever again. For they both kept each other company and lived together as friends until the ends of their days.